Indeed, greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. Thank you so much for joining me again here in this space, in this place, in this feeling we share with one another again. I do appreciate your presence. Thank you so much for joining in this space with me once again. Man, I've been feeling into so many aspects of my own nature as of late, and it has been difficult. But it feels so good to be here again. Might have some wind today, as you can see. We're moving on to a new page of things worth saying. And there's a piece of grass in between the pages as well. I don't know what that means. It shouldn't mean anything. Just something I wanted to share. Practice being the presence of heaven. Hot damn. Practice being the presence of heaven. How do you do that? That's my question. How do you really do that? Practicing being the presence of heaven. I think calming down is going to be the first step in doing that, right? Can't be in the presence of heaven if you're paranoid or anxious or scared, or angry. Only and truly calming down, being present for your experience, can you hope to achieve heaven in it. I'm happy that I got the phone a little bit into a nook. I don't think it's going to be enough to save the audio. But we try, and trying is all that matters at the end of the day. Can't be angry at yourself for the things you try to do not turning out in the way you think they're going to, And I feel, especially in my own life, there is this definite attachment to things turning out in the exact ways we anticipate and expect them to. We expect a lot of ourselves sometimes, Gateway process. What's been going on, Melt? Mostly the biggest problem or tension I have inside of myself, Gateway process, and thank you, friend, for sharing your presence with us today, is just the amount of turmoil and uncertainty, worklessness, sheer chaos, I don't know how to say it, that is present in my country right now, friend. The fires that raged over the farm yesterday, we learned that it was maliciously lit, so it wasn't like some sort of natural happening, it was done on purpose, which in its own is kind of unfortunate. But there's so much more going on, Hello. Hey, Luna. South African? Yes, I am. I am South African, in fact. I was born here. I left for a bit. And in leaving as well, I think this is something a lot of people realize when they leave their home countries, is that you find a new appreciation and a new love for your country upon returning. Or you realize how much you love your country when you're still staying in the country that you're living in. And I still feel that way, That's the thing as well. I still feel this feeling of bliss and freedom and enjoyment from staying in South Africa and being back in South Africa. But then at the same time, also being confronted with things that are supposed to not necessarily put me in a space like that, Because I realize that it's not necessarily like that for everyone in the country at the moment. And yeah, it's definitely something I have to find balance with inside of myself. Aussie, sorry you're going through shit. No, I'm South African, friend, still. Hey, Merman, thank you for joining me, friend. How have you been? Merman? I feel like it's been forever since I've heard you say anything about Stephanie. Oh, you two friends happy? Hope it's going well. I'm thinking about you, man. Is South Africa more a liberal or conservative country? I don't actually know what that means, dude. Like, I don't know how to answer that question, even if we did have like liberal versus conservative, like left versus right. We have guns, I guess. We did have guns. They're taking our guns away now. Uh, we have some new cannabis laws. I don't know if that affects anything. We have rampant corruption. I don't know if that says much. I don't know. It's just wild. It's just wild, your friend. Liberal, conservative. I feel it leaning more to conservative, just as a a personal experience of the country. No, I'm Aussie. Oh, and sorry to hear about the fires there. Oh, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Thank you for joining me, my Aussie friend. What's the time in Aussie not Aussie right now, Australia right now? It's probably pushing on like late hours, right? Like 12ish or something. How was your day? Do you have anything you're planning on doing tomorrow that you would like to share with us? I just want to be as calm as I can be in this stream, Truly just move into that calm, loving presence of being. Because I feel I've been in my head a lot, distracted and worried. Thinking about things that I can't necessarily change, and it's not serving me at the moment. And I can feel it's not serving me. I can feel it's something that is perturbing me constantly, and it's like poking a lion of a stick. I think about these things and I'm like, oh, then I stop thinking about them for a while, and then I come back with that stick and I'm like, that's the that's the current vibe. Midnight bra, thank you for staying up with me, friend. It's nice to have you here, man. Good. It was my birthday recently, and honestly, I just want to continue on having fun, but I just get anxious, so it never works. Okay, so you want to have fun, but you're getting anxious. Anxious about what, friend? Anxious about the social interaction, anxious about the place that you're going to have fun in, anxious about what your want for having fun is going to mean, anxious about the current epidemic and you not being able to do that, anxious about your friends not wanting to continue having fun. Give me some context, friend, and we can feel into that together. South African, as always, relates back to a lie. Go look at my little profile picture as well, friend. I do like lions. But yeah, I guess, hey shorties, thank you for the love you were sharing, my friend. Mr. Smities, that pesky mind of ours. Hard to turn off at times. It is. Meditation helps, and like I've been trying to fill my consciousness with good information as well. Getting to a place where like I'll listen to some really good information and just feel into the information that's being shared, and like let myself be in that knowing, that this information is good. I'm supposed to be hearing it, and in hearing it, I can learn something as well. Even though I'm saying that as well, I feel like I'm still not capable of retaining all of it. Going to have to work a lot harder, I feel as well. Social stuff and I'm a decent enough girl to be around. I just worry about people all the time, no clue. So in that case, is it that like feeling of worrying about what they may be thinking about you? Like you do something, you say something, and then you're like, oh man, that's stupid to say, that's like one of those stories we tell ourselves. Because I feel more so often than not, like those feelings, especially when we're trying to like judge ourselves through the eyes of another, it's rarely the case. Like those people and the things we tell ourselves are rarely as bad as extreme, as we think. Like we might say something stupid, and then Like the thought going through the other person's head is like, huh, that's a weird thing to say, and then they kind of stop with that, and you're like going through it in your head like, oh, they must be thinking this about me now, and then this about me now, and they must be like judging me still about that thing I said 20 minutes ago, and then that can create so much social anxiety because you feel like there is this tally being kept about all of the things that you said, all of the mistakes you've made, and if you reach a certain threshold of mistakes made in a conversation, then you're out or something like that, right? It's not necessarily how it is. Like, people rarely think about the mistakes we make as much as we do. And on top of that, when you look at like more sophisticated, I almost want to say, social interactions, those people don't necessarily acknowledge each other's mistakes as much as in a lower class situation. I don't know if that makes sense, but let's put it into like perspective of if there's a bunch of businessmen, you know, trying to settle some sort of deal, right? Has to be very formal, has to be very respectful of one another, and someone like spills their drink over their pants or something. The other men aren't necessarily going to burst out in laughter at this other person because it's not necessarily a socially acceptable thing to do. Where the correct reaction would be to either like offer help, sometimes not even that, or to just kind of move on as if nothing happened, you know. If it's a mistake that is like a fluke, like you stumble over some words, or you forget a point you're trying to make, then just being like, oh well, you know, that happened, and then moving on with it, you know, instead of trying to think of it as this thing that happened, and now everyone is going to continuously think about this thing that happened. It's rarely the case, and it's usually just the stories we tell ourselves, right? We become the stories we tell ourselves, and the story I'm telling myself today is going to be a story of calm. Just a story of calm. A calm heart, calm mind, calm state of being, calm understanding of what I can change and what I can't, a calm acceptance of you friends that choose to share the space with me. Calm. Yeah. The wind is probably not going to be calm enough for me to do this, but we can try. I got out of my head and changed my life. My world is so different from 1 month ago. Now I have my dream job in New York City. And you deserve it, Gateway Process. You deserve that dream job and more. And more and more and more and more and more. And it'll come to you, friend. You got this. I'm so happy for you. You should dance, homie. I dance all the time, dude. I dance all the time. Thank you, though. I'll dance a little bit more soon, I'm sure. All the above. Did I do the right thing? Are they happy? Did I do the right thing, etc.? I think I just need to chill the hell out. Yeah, that helps, Silas. That usually helps, you know. Chilling out, calming down is usually what is going to be the ideal, you know. And saying nothing sometimes is also okay. I feel that is especially something I need to learn, because I have a very hard time saying nothing. And I'd rather embarrass myself saying things than say nothing. You know, why that is a mystery to me still. But we're figuring it out. We're figuring it out. Like, I used to be very socially anxious as well. And it was only in releasing some of the tensions I had and trying to, you know, control other people's experiences that I felt I gained calm in those situations, you know. When you realize that you can't really do that much to change someone's way of seeing a situation or feeling in that situation, and you can just kind of be a calm and loving presence in that situation, you're doing more than you would be doing if you were like frantically trying to better the situation, if that makes any sense. Right? Like, a person is not necessarily having the best time watching or listening to a certain song. And then you're like, oh, okay, let me just change this song quickly. And then they're like, and then you change the song again. And then you're like, okay, let's try and put a movie on. And you try to put a movie on, and they're like, they don't want to watch this movie or whatever, right? and you're like constantly hopping around from this thing to this other thing to try and satisfy them in this way, you know, to make it as perfect as you can. And then in this like frantic running around of you trying to do this thing that you think they're expecting of you, you're basically creating a situation of discomfort within them that you were trying to avoid in the first place. So the only thing that I believe is the best thing to do is to calm down and be open and receptive to this other person's needs. And to, instead of being frantic about your way of interaction, to just be aware that they're in a space that may be unfamiliar to them as well, and that they know how to keep themselves occupied to at least some extent. It's not your responsibility to constantly, you know, dance around and entertain them. They know how to entertain themselves. They can twiddle their fingers, they can take their phones out if they're not, you know, fulfilled or whatever, right? We need to lay off ourselves a little bit sometimes. Be kind to ourselves. To calm and kind. Calm and kind it is. Thank you for the love, Kathy. I appreciate it. Just a loop, but I'm just being a bit dumb, really. You're not being dumb, Luna. You're not being dumb. You're just being human. We're all just human, you know. And it's in realizing that fact and being tender and kind to ourselves that we can love our little human, you know. I believe literally we love our human in loving ourselves, because there is the self that you can love, right? The ultimate self. And then when you love your human, you're loving this self, if you will. Stephanie is so well, friend. She's always asking about you too. We work together now too, which is awesome. I'm so happy to hear that, Merman. And I'm like, it really flatters me that she asks about me as well. I've been sending you to so much love, my friend. Thank you for joining us here. Yeah, apply the kindness you show to others to yourself and be easier. But easier said than done. Oh really? Oh really? You tell me that? Yeah, I know though, friend. I do know. That's why we're trying to at least remind ourselves, you know. Again, we're not trying to avoid or pretend it doesn't exist. The bad stuff that is, you know, the outside world. But we are trying to at least love ourselves in this current knowing that we have. Current feeling that we share with each other. And that's all we can really do. We can't expect that much more of ourselves. Good morning, friend. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I am doing well, G-Unit. Thank you, friend. I'm feeling a little bit tender, if you will. A little bit tender, but we're calm in that state of tenderness. Calm and accepting, loving, soft, melty, if you will, as well. What is this stream? This is a stream of just sharing with each other, friend. Sharing in remembrance, showing up, being there for one another, and showing, like confronting, I want to say, instead of just showing up, confronting feelings, you know. Especially the ones we usually try and ease away from. Accepting everything that comes into the stream. Any question, any feeling, any understanding of... It's accepted, friend. You are accepted here. Thank you for joining us. Oh, the PBGB. Thank you so much for the heartwarming, my friend. I saw you streaming today as well. Don't think I tuned in. And I appreciate you tuning in here, though, man. Like, thank you. How did your streams go? How have they been? PB showed us his plants the other day. They're like yay big. Looking, like, vibrantly green. They almost look, like, aggressive. But they're growing, so it makes me so happy. I look forward to seeing them become trees, dude. To you friends who don't know, the PBGB is also a streamer friend here on Arpan. I love how as soon as I start listening to a South African, I stop saying yeah and start saying ja. Ja. Ek sê ook ja. Dis is maar hoe dit is, you know. Ja en ja. Like instead of saying yo, we say yo. Oorvol. Dit is wel net yo. Where are you based, South Africa, friend? But I think you know that now. Absoluters. PB, you're the first one to understand my username. I respect you. I've been mad for fucking years. I mean, understanding it, is there a reference to something? I'm guessing it is a reference to something because we've been mad our entire lives, is the way that I think about it. This entire spectrum of life is just madness. We're experiencing like a small sliver of the waves, the what electromagnetic wave, and we interpret that as colors and as the images we see. But it's literally like such a small spectrum of it. And I believe in the same way that we can only perceive a certain spectrum of things with our current biological eyes, it's the exact same thing for consciousness. There's so much more spectrum to consciousness than we could even fathom. And I'm trying to fathom. I'm really trying to fathom. And it's like trying to confront this idea that is so much larger than myself. And I feel like it's a pursuit that never really will ever end. And it is intimidating in a lot of ways, but I'm also not shying away. Yes, it's a reference to Pink Floyd. There we go. I knew it was a reference to something because that's probably what you meant with PB getting it. PB is like really good on his music knowledge. Pretty sure he would wipe at least me with the floor if we had to play some sort of game show about music. I've been to SA, Cape Town, Plettenberg Bay, George. I enjoyed it. Such a beautiful country and such amazing people. I'm happy that you enjoyed our country, friend. And thank you for sharing a little bit of that, enjoyment with the rest of us as well. It's a beautiful country. Like, there's so much beauty in it. There's so much beauty in it. And it's in being aware of that and appreciating that beauty that we still have, that a lot of people are staying in this country. But it's not enough for most of us, dude. It's not enough for most of us. I'm looking forward. Like, there is some hopeful laws, if you will, surrounding like hemp production coming up. Hemp is not the same thing as cannabis. Produces no like psychoactive compounds, but it's such a great textile. Really good for your soil. Doesn't use that much water. Produces gigatons of materials. Like, you can use the inner cores as like building materials. You can use the outer core as textiles. You can use it as fuels. You can use it as plastics. Can use it as cosmetics, it's just a wonder plant. And I believe that it's going to be one of the ways that we make at least our plastic use, and maybe just sustainable clothing as well. Something that is actually possible. This country, yo. So much potential. So much potential. Do. Life is chaos. Oh yes, it is, Rosie Dove. Oh yes, but it's beautiful chaos though. Like turbulence, Turbulence is absolutely beautiful. It destroys things and dissipates itself at the end of the day, but it is gorgeous. Hey buddy, good to see you. Good to see you as well, Kaleidoscope. It's been a while, friend. It's been a long while. Can I tell you my favorite dumb joke? Feel free, Luna. I accept all messages, friend. All ways of expression. All feeling. Concrete. Concretes are from cannabis. You're probably thinking about hempcrete, right? But there's a hempcrete bridge still standing, like from 1,600 years ago in France or something. We already know how to use this technology. Like, there's so many applications for it. My lighter is dying. Weed treat. Yeah, there we go. You already know as well, friend. It's crazy. Your seasons are opposite than mine. Your winter is my summer. Yep. It is my winter right now, but how would you know that? How would you know that? I didn't mention anything about that. Maybe you just know. Why did Sally fall off the swing? Why did Sally fall off the swing? Man, like, if you say it's a dumb joke, my mind goes to like, because she wasn't saddled correctly. Sally wasn't saddled. Actually got wrecked. I didn't have a lighter now. So now I'm confronted with a feeling, you know, because on one side of it, I'm like, okay, I'm rolling this joint with the intention of being calm, and that's why we were going to smoke it. And then on the other side, my lighter decides to stop working. So am I going to be more calm smoking this with the intention of calm, or is this a test to see how calm I can be in not standing up and fetching myself another lighter? You see, like it's stuff like this that I really enjoy life throwing at me, because I feel of it like sometimes like almost a test, you know. And there's no right answer to this test, but there is a definite feeling to what it is I'm going to choose to do. How is it going to affect the outcome of this stream, the situation that is the dilemma of not having a lighter? I think this, like, I don't even know how this thing is this dead. I filled it yesterday, which is kind of ironic as well. I filled it for 33 seconds because I thought that would be adequate amount to like last a few weeks again. It seems not. It would seem not. We'll try to light it again. Let's see if we can. I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna work. No. I think I'll just be calm. We're not smoking today. How's the fire situation going, friend? The fire has been burnt out, fortunately. Merman. Fire kept burning until there was nothing left to burn. Fortunately, it's gone now. Thank you so much. The kindness. Sally, because she had no arms and no legs. Also, if your lighter is dying, light a candle so you still have a light. Thank you, friend. Like, at least, like I felt in a way, can you use your stove? As I said, Luna, I can do all of those things, but I feel I wouldn't be calm in doing them. I have more lighters as well, and I still have the big can of like filling liquid, so you can even bring it here, fill the lighter up right here. But I feel like the actions of doing those things, maybe going to the stove, maybe going and fetching myself a candle to light said candle, going to get the gas, those would be less calm states of being than the state of being I'm trying to be in right now. Does that make sense? Because I watched your background in your yard for a year. Yeah, so you know, Kaleidoscope. Yeah, it used to be very green, right? And now it's like kind of yellowy, light brownish. Still beautiful though. I never not download this nonsense. And thank you, friend Gervie. I appreciate you downloading as well, because it's another experience, you know, another perspective to this message I'm trying to share with you as well. If it's not something that you appreciate, that's also okay. Thank you for taking the time to actually say something though. Now I can know who you are. Gerby T. Sending you love as well, friend. Pretty sure that is the universe testing you. I'm feeling so as well, Mr. Smitey, and I'm going to respect that test. I'm going to be a good student. At least I'm gonna try and be a good student. Go fetch another lighter, bro. Life is indeed a test. You see, now I have like a little angel. I feel Mr. Smitey's in this case being the little angel. Life is testing you, universe is testing you. And then Razband is being the little devil. He's like, yeah, go get the lighter, bro. This is a test. Life wants to see if you want to enjoy it enough. Stab, 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 stab. Oh, we definitely understand. Get some fire. We would. You see, but I'm not going to, because now that's what I want to do, right? That's the initial feeling. I was like, okay, damn it, lighter doesn't work. I'm gonna go get a new one. And then I was like, wait a second. Because that's my initial response, That is the way my neurons, my being fires. Is like, oh, go do this thing now. I'm like, no, I'm gonna be calm instead. I'm not gonna be driven by this want, for something. Be it fire, be it the joint that is calm, be it the experience that it will bring. This is how it is. This is how it is. I'm gonna be here for it. The universe just doesn't want you to hear my joke. Go get another lighter, bro. Sorry, too late for advice. It's chill. Don't worry about it. Describing it takes longer. Go get your wake and bake on, bro. Like, I've been awake for a long time, dude. It is 44 minutes past 4 right now for me. So, yeah, it's not wake and bake time for me, friend. Have you ever been to the UK? Did you enjoy your time there? I've never been to the UK, Ronaldo, but I would like to go eventually. I feel as of late I've had like some sort of insight to a little bit of, some people that live in the UK. I don't know how many of your friends will know him, but there's this dude Colin Furs on YouTube. I think that dude is British. And he's just crazy, the stuff that he gets up to. The dude just kind of builds stuff in his backyard, and he's in the process of like digging tunnels underneath his house. And watching that dude, and the amount of dedication he has, I do believe myself to be a dedicated individual with a lot of willpower. But then I see stuff like that, and I'm like, holy shit! I still have a lot of way to go. Gotta go, bud. Please have a wonderful day. You deserve it. Thank you, Kaleidoscope. I appreciate you, friend. You have a good day as well. So Sally has no arms, no legs. Knock, knock. Like, Sally can't knock. Yeah, not Sally. I was about to say, she doesn't have arms and legs, so she can't knock. Who's there? Telling a guest you're subconscious. Lol. No arms or legs, can't knock. Yeah, I get it. I get it. It's hilarious though. I think going to get another lighter is no different from getting another slice of cake. If you accidentally dropped your slice of cake, it shows a determination to follow your plans through. You see, now again we find ourselves. You know that music from like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or something, where they're like, go down, and the lights shift, and the whole mood is like, oh, down. I feel like that's what happens when I kind of meet one of those moments. Like, a while ago, we met the moment with not having a lighter, and then feeling like I want to go and fetch the lighter. Then I talk about determination, getting shit done that you want to get done. And then our friend Rosie Dove is like, your determination to go and get another slice of cake, to go and get your lighter, so you can follow through with your plans. Because my plan was to smoke a joint for calm. You see, now you've introduced a new perspective. A new perspective that I did not consider at first. It's oof but funny. Yeah, it is a little bit oof. Little bit oof 420 LA Oregon grunge. Yeah, basically. Genuinely the worst joke, but it's hilarious. Yeah, it's kind of bad, but it's like one of those dark humor jokes, I guess, right? Edgy. Very edgy. Love, just get another lighter, it's okay. Rosie Smart AF. Philosophy is fun. That's what philosophy is, Luna. This is literally what philosophy is. And you can extract philosophy from something as arbitrary as your lighter dying. And that's the thing that is so beautiful about the human experience for me, is because there's just so much that can, kind of trigger these feelings. Having another slice of cake, drinking another sip of water, going and fetching your lighter. You can take it as these philosophical exercises if you want to. See, get yourself some fire, bro. I think I probably will. I just want to read your comments first, and then I will. You always have such cool cups. I've been using this same cup this entire year, and I'm probably going to continue using this cup for as long as I can, and then I'll do something with it. Auction it off, maybe break it into pieces and make jewelry out of it. do some hippie shit. I know I snort, I know topics, it's okay. Hey Nancy, I'm interested in why you're feeling tender, or what made you feel tender. Uh, you know what, Nancy, if you would wait just a second for me. Now I'm confronted with the feeling of, do I take you with me or leave you here? Don't know. Lights shift. Which do I choose? Which perspective is going to be more divine? In one perspective, you'll get to look out on the farm, listen to the but on the other hand, you'll get to see into my room and where I'm going to go and fetch said lighter. And I'm like picturing now both perspectives in my brain. And I think since the last time I had to go and fetch something, I left you, I'm going to bring you with me today. Yeah. I'll move this one. And then I'll do this one. Up. Let's go on an adventure. Good old farm garage. This is our avocado tree. That is a Doge that is older than a lot of you friends and human years, well, dog years, I guess. It's like 95-year-old, 15-year-old Doge. Then this is like one of the mini garages. And then this is my room outside of the house, actually. Scott's painting. This is a painting by a friend of mine. God's affirmations. God's box crystals and feathers and jars. God's lighter. Sick! And that's how you friends see me. Literal technology. That thing is being pointed straight at another one like it. It's called point-to-point internet, so it helps with like stability things. If it wasn't for that exact little attachment, we would probably not be able to do these streams legitimately. It would be too unstable for me to, unfortunately. Things turned out exactly the way they were supposed to, so that we can be right here and in this space together with one another. No, need me. I think that's good. Take us with ya. You've been taken, friend. You've been taken. And the reason, Nancy, I did promise that I'll answer your question. The reason I'm feeling tender as of late is because of the current state that our country is in, friend. And yeah, like especially being confronted with this feeling of I want to leave, but I can't bring my family with me. But even if I could, I feel like they wouldn't want to go with me, which is like this dual weird feeling of, oh, I want to help my family, but my family doesn't want to be helped. And yeah, tender, a little bit tender. So what would you do with the trolley problem? One for the many, even if it was someone you love, such an interesting one. Take us with you, whatever you're comfy with. I think I've reasoned a little bit of my mindset, my process, and you've been taken with you. With me at least, Luna. With you too, actually. The trolley problem. So, obviously, like, I think that's kind of a no-brainer, right? The one person for the many, even if it is someone you know. Oh, man, that is difficult, though. Because like, there's this feeling of inside of myself, like, there are... Man, like, I don't think I can say stuff like that. Yeah, it's... I hope, at least, I'll never have to be faced with a troubling problem like that, at least. Let's go, bro, if you're cool with it. If that's cool with you. It's been cool with me, Razbrand. Where's the puppy? She's probably about somewhere. Like, I saw her a bunch of times. Oh, man. After I showered. Hey, fly. Shouldn't save them. It's not good to save flies. this dude is gonna make like thousands of other babies. But I would feel bad watching him clean his face. Man, I'm like trying to picture myself now as a being on another being's finger, like this. Kind of like washing my hair or something. Oh goodness. It's kind of weird. Leave me. Brother, I see your mindset and understand the exercise of will. You know what you don't need to smoke to achieve the desired results, but we only get to live once. So sometimes I think it's okay to indulge in what makes you happy. Fortunately, Ronaldo, I do agree with you, friend. You know, and I go through all of the feelings of, you know, and I let you kind of share with me in the understandings that I have of things, just so that you can get like a little bit of a glimpse of the way that I deal with shit sometimes. It can be, you know, a very big proponent to indecisiveness, because I feel like I'm considering things on a different level of achievement, you know. Instead of thinking of the things I achieve on a physical level, you know, quantify, oh, I'm so successful because of X amount of thing that I've gathered, be it currency, be it partners, be it cars, be it houses, versus being able to gather something that isn't physical, you know, and I believe that is experience. And the experience of changing our behaviors and the way that we feel about things and think about things, or at least just taking a little bit more consideration into that place. Instead of just being like, oh, my lighter is dead, I'm going to stand up, I'm going to get a new one, sit back down, to question these things, to question if there's anything to be learned from them. And I feel that's what I try to do. That's what I do try to do. To kindness. Thank you for the helpful pro, my friend. I appreciate your love that you're choosing to share. Aunt B, it's so nice to have you here as well. Beautiful friend, family member, Haywire Hill, liver, if you will. Absolutely beautiful people. Like, man, I don't know your surname. The Haywire Hill fam, if you will. Absolutely gorgeous people. That just makes me so much happy. I watched Uncle Becky stream this morning as well. Did really well. And then puppies were fighting. This made me think about like this propensity for things to come up in life, you know, these distractions. And we think of them as something that can be, you know, seen as not beneficial or undesirable, like puppies fighting each other, and then us being so distracted that we have to kind of tend to them, or like trying to say something and being interrupted. But there is divine nature in those interruptions as well. There's divine nature in everything. And calm. To calm. Yes, I need to calm down. I was thinking about disconnecting the water to that sprayer today because of the but it is in a pattern, so it's something I can tune out. Oh, look who's stealing my shoes. You can kind of see her, right? Yeah, shoes being stolen. But now I feel like the sound of the water falling on the grass is so pleasant to me. I'm very happy that I didn't. Is this a rural? Rural? Yeah, it's a little rural. It clearly looks rural. It's kind of rural. That's God stuff. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Road trip? Got taken on a road trip. Man, see it all worked out, bro. And it always will, Razvan. It always will, friend. Yeah, they turned out that way because people decided that'd be a good way to make money. Like, I know you're replying to something that I said brilliant at, but I feel like I'm missing a little bit of the context now again. Thank you for co-creating with me though. You need to grow a beard to complete the look. Malajutit? Yeah, dude. Going for the heart, man. I didn't grow a proper beard, unfortunately. Nah, not unfortunately. This is the face I was given. I wasn't supposed to have a good beard, and that's okay. It's completely okay. I understand. I'm in the USA. Thank you for answering about why you're feeling tender. I'm struggling with staying, with wanting to stay or go. So you're dealing with the same issues in a lot of ways as well, Nancy. I think, like, being able to just live in America, I know it's sometimes hard to believe that, but it is still a very big blessing. In comparison to how things can be in a lot of other countries, things are still very good subjectively, relatively, in America. And being aware of that a little bit more can allow you a lot more enjoyment and gratitude for your current circumstance as well. You watching the football game or soccer game? No, I don't. Eat it. The fly? Yes, he did. It's a bit much. As soon as you think of how they would feel, it makes it easy, Trolley. Like, I wouldn't want to be saved in exchange for 5 people, and those I would love either because they're too decent? Decement? 7? Yeah, I hear you. Decent, even. Oops, typo. It's okay. Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. Like, how would your family member or the person close to you take it, knowing that you willingly chose to kill 5 people to save their lives? I wouldn't, be very happy with that information. But I don't think I would feel responsible either. But if I were the one responsible, man, good old trolley problem. One versus many, right? You see, the reason I kind of believe in the one versus many, like sacrifice the one for the many, is because I believe that we're doing that in our own way right now as well. Like, we're sacrificing pieces of ourselves to the world. We have to bring ourselves to the world, give ourselves completely to this world, even if it might be in a sacrificial way, even if we might not be received, even if we might not be rewarded, to still give ourselves for the sake of giving ourselves. And it's not always easy, but it is the thing that's indicative of genuine change. There is no getting without giving, and in the giving there is getting as well, because it's the same openness. Being able to receive and being able to give truly, like, it requires you to be very open, very vulnerable, very honest with yourself as well. And it can be something that's painful. You've seen it. It can be something that's painful. Hey, dry story, and thank you for joining us again, friend. How have you been? How have you been? Oh, you think you deal with shit? Well, you haven't dealt with what I'm dealing with. Confident extension. Share with us what you're dealing with, friend. Then I can, tell you whether or not I've dealt with something similar. Or, if I haven't, we can be in tender feeling of that with you. You can help us expand our perspectives. If you would be willing to share your perspective on how you could change, even with the stuff, how you could cope rather as well, even with the stuff that you've been dealing with, like, you can help other people by doing that. And you're encouraged to. You're loved, friend. I hope that you know that. Can you change the sprinkler pattern? No. It's like a pattern that basically, it has this little metal rod that is spring loaded, and it has like a little angle to it, so it falls back water kind of hits it, sprays it to the side with like a, the conversation, like the, why can't I say that word? Conversion? No. Conservation. There we go. Conservation of momentum. Water moves that little pedal. That little pedal being moved kind of turns the sprayer a little bit, and then it falls back, and then it repeats that process over and over again, kind of spinning in the circle. So there's no changing the pattern without changing the little thing that makes the pattern, if you will. It's so interesting to think about those problems of the view of other people. It really is, Luna, and that is what we've been doing as well, coming together in this space. It's like, instead of me just being on my own in my feeling of the things that I feel, of my exploration of these ideas, I get to share them with you, friends, and you get to share your perspectives on those ideas with me as well. In turn, expanding, broadening my own perspective, and then it's this back and forth, We're becoming more aware, trying to grow our consciousness, expand it, melt more into it, if you will, as well. That's what I believe, at least. With the same amount of information you lack out there in the world, with our small band of wavelength we can see, I believe we lack the same amount of conscious awareness because of the very finite scale of our minds as well. Like, if anything, our minds allows us to tune into what consciousness is. I don't think it's the sole generator of this consciousness. What do you friends think? Do you believe consciousness is produced inside the brain? Do share with me. I know this is a nice and touchy subject. I don't know. Since you're from South Africa, it's easy for you to move to the UK because of the relationship history, etc. No. Not really, unfortunately. I'm from the US, but I feel a deep connection with the UK. You want to go back there, Ronaldo? Unfortunately, the UK is kind of small, dude. It's kind of expensive to live there as well. I wouldn't be opposed to it. But it's not one of the top countries I'm considering, if you will. Oh, I like your view of the one verse, many problems. I'm happy you appreciate it, my friend. Thank you, Dry Historian, for joining us in the space. But then you can add on and be like one innocent for 5 murderers, where you end up and have no clue. So yeah, like you basically bring it to a point where it is like, okay, 1 murderer versus 5 innocents. Then the exchange becomes a little bit weird because, now I'm killing 5 people, even though they're all kind of bad people, versus saving the person that is innocent. And then you put 2 innocents and 3 murderers. Right? Now you're killing more innocents, even though you're killing 3 murderers, which is still good for humanity because now there's less murderers. You're still killing 2 more innocents, or 1 more innocent, 100% more innocent people without the trade, right? And then it becomes even more difficult. Yeah, I can't tell you. I don't wanna be in that position. They've actually done that test, IRL, on I think it may have been Vsauce actually, with his YouTube series. They actually simulated the trolley problem, where they had people walking on a train or train track looking the other way, and they basically explained to people how they could operate the trolleys, and some people actually did choose to switch it to the other side, where it would only kill 1 person versus the 5. Yeah, so some people do still make the choice to actually help. Most people, I think 50% of people, just get shocked and stopped in fear. They didn't do anything. In my mind, it's a magical place. Absolutely, Ronaldo. We can make anything, a magical place. We can make where we are right now a magical place for ourselves as well. It's not about where you are or how much money you have. It's more about your imagination, in this moment, and what you can extract from the infinite nature that is your experience already. I'm dealing with my land being taken by my grandmother and my kids being taken away by the city. I'm so sorry to hear that, friend. What happened? That sounds like they would have to have a lot of reason to do something like that. They would have to have some authority to try and do something like that. What happened? Like, what led to this being a thing, Drip? I'm surviving, but Reddit is a place to escape my situation and help depression. I'm so grateful. We're grateful for you as well, Dry Historian. Thank you for co-creating in this space with us. You are appreciated, loved, lovable, and loving always and forever, friend. I hope that you know that. Like, this is a very big life that we live, you know. And when we don't feel so alone, when we feel we can connect with each other, where we can share some sort of understanding, some sort of feeling, you know, that is where we really extract a lot of our enjoyment from in life. Not so much how much wealth we accumulated, not so much the individual things we experienced, but the genuine closeness we had with one another at the end of the day. Thank you for sharing this space with us. Microdose mushrooms. It actually has been proven to have some benefits, but I'm not a medical professional, so go and do some research for yourself if you want to learn more about that. My brother needs help. Yeah, I'm sure he does, friend. Lick my toes clean of peanut butter. Got you, Elgins. Like, I wonder if you stayed to make that joke, friend. I need to get got by it. I hope you did. I love you still. Thank you for joining us in this space. I also feel a deep connection with the UK, being from the US. You want to live there? You want to move there? Can you move there? Have you looked into moving there? Rapid fire questioning. You are incredibly handsome. No need for any gimmicks or beards. Thank you, Valkyrie, for your beautiful message. This is the way I look right now. So I guess I'll appreciate your compliment for now. Will you still love me as much when I'm old and dusty? That's the question that I ask myself sometimes. Something I am looking forward to with my age is my consolidation on the things that I believe and how I'm going to choose to live my life. Man, it's very intimidating, the idea of growing old. Because I feel like I'm already setting for myself a standard of understanding and maturity, being a 23-year-old, having a 23-year-old body, or whatever. And I'm wondering, and I'm not concerned necessarily, but I am questioning about where it will grow to, you know. I'm so aware that I don't know anything, you know, and that the current maturity that I feel about my situation, about my life, is probably infantile in comparison to what I'm still to achieve. And then in knowing that, I feel I'm not progressing fast enough, you know. And then I just kind of remind myself again to be kind to myself as well. Like, there is this Stoic saying of be hard on yourself, be lenient with others. And I think that's more advice on how to treat others, you know. Not to be as hard on them as you are with yourself. But I think there is still a place for being kind to yourself as well. Allowing yourself some room to breathe. A little bit of rope. Not enough to hang yourself. Right. Which one of you are considering countries to live in? I'm considering to live in the Netherlands, Canada, like those, maybe even Norway as well. Like, those are the countries that really are high up on my list. How about you, friends? Consciousness is the byproduct of all five senses, nothing more, says the Buddha. I'm not so sure about that, friend. because I've experienced states of consciousness that is without senses. Like if you go into like a sensory deprivation tank or float tank, like your ears are covered in water. You're even doing that. I can hardly hear myself. Like try that actually. Just cover your ears like that. You can keep them open on the back and just talk. Feels very strange. But you're covered in water. The water is basically body temperature. You're in a complete darkness, and you also have plugs in your ears on top of that. And then you're just like floating in this tank, and you have no input. Your body starts to like melt into the rest of the water because it's your body temperature, and it creates like this pocket of water around your skin that creates like this very weird barrier, so you don't have to move too much, otherwise you break it. And in that state of consciousness, I found myself in this complete void, you know, like literally just this eye awareness in nothing, you know, absolutely nothing. And I was calm. I was so calm. And I was so aware. I do not believe at all that our consciousness is just a state of our senses. I think Buddha might have been wrong on that one, if I can say that. Oh man, I'm tuning him. I'd like to have to chat with Buddha as well. Maybe that is just something that got construed as well, who knows. Would you be up for listening to a song right now, Luna? No, unfortunately not. Maybe a little bit later though. Nanshi, consciousness is, realizing it is opening another part of the universe that doesn't involve thinking. Yes, literally, Nanshi just did a description of the state of consciousness that I was in. Yeah, that's literally what it is. That state of nothingness, you know, being in the empty void that is, you know, consciousness, and or being in the empty void and still being consciousness. That's it. Yeah, and it's very profound. Thank you for the hugs, my friend. Kikiriki? I don't know what that means, Alice, but thank you for joining us, friend. I hope people would have more understanding for each other, as you say. I think we're trying to, right? You're trying to. If you're hoping this at least already, you're trying to do that, friend. And the fact that you are means that people are. Because if you weren't, then people wouldn't either, right? You understand what I'm trying to say? Be the change you want to see, friend. It really is that way. Little beer, it's nice to have you here. My brain sometimes agitates minor sounds and makes them actually louder than they actually are. The older I get, the more diseases I get. So, little bear, bear with me, and you can totally call me out if I'm being full of shit. And sometimes, but I think even though that might be an experience of a disease, right? Some sounds being exaggerated, if you will, that is another layer of experience, of perspective that you're now having as a result in your life. And I believe that that state is going to create more neuroplasticity within yourself, because instead of just things being in the way that they always were for your entire existence, now you have this like jolt, maybe. Like you open a little like a can, and instead of just being like, it's like, you're like, and you spill a little bit of like cola on yourself because you got so startled. That's like a whole jolt of like feeling into your being, and it could like raise your heartbeat, can like make your thoughts run because of the little bit of adrenaline that got released, and that could be something that's good for you. You know, like it's a matter of perspective, and I know it's heavy to say just that. But I love you, friend, and I believe that there is still something to be loved, something to be learned from everything that happens to us. I decided to smoke with you. Let's get weird. Okay. What do you want to get weird about, G Unit OG? You want to suggest some trippy subject matter? I'm down. I'm down to throw. I'm honestly thinking about it later in life, when I retire, because I don't know if I could get a license for what I'm studying. Man, Canada also sounds nice. What are you studying, Dry Historian? Like I'm thinking you're maybe studying like mycology or something. So you would want to cultivate like fungus strains. And you would want, or you would need a license to do that. And you doubt the availability of licensing. And the fact that you think Canada is also nice would suggest that you know about their little bit calmer restrictions on stuff like that. Am I hitting any close notes? I don't know. I may be full of it as well. What do you think, friend? I think Buddha's word is often a slight misconstrued. I think it's that way for everything, friend. I think it's that way for Jesus' work as well. Eyewitness accounts are kind of bad. They're kind of bad. And they get worse with time. It's proven. We have data for it. We live in an age where that's no longer a thing, though. Things happen and they're captured in perfect resemblance of what actually happened. It's a very new existence that we live in right now. Yeah, we're gaining new social laws, unspoken rules, if you will, as well. I think, oh, Canada, there we go. Agree with you. I love you too, friend. Damn, I could use a joint now. Maybe at some point, friend. Like, how long ago have you smoked marijuana? Is it legal in the state that you live in? If it's not, like, I'm sorry. Hopefully that's not going to be a thing for much longer. Good morning, my friend. Hey, Juno. It's nice to have you here again, friend. How have you been? How have you been? Like, how have you been at least in the last 24 hours since we've seen each other? Any lessons that you've learned, any experience that you've gained, something you would be willing to share with us? We would love to learn from you. I'm studying to be a therapist. Now, why do you think you wouldn't be able to get a license in America? Is it difficult to get a practicing license? And man, that also makes me think, actually. I have a friend right now who is already a therapist. And he also has a YouTube channel. Man, I'm having a hard time remembering his name right now, or the channel's name right now. I know his name is Navern. Maybe it's just Navern, actually? Navern Supermoney? That might be his YouTube channel name. Like, I'll try and add it into the description of the YouTube video at least. But he's at the moment making a little mini series on how to be your own therapist. And that is something I'm also very fascinated by. Because not everyone can afford, therapy. And if you can in some way do some of that stuff for yourself, why not? Right? Why not? Have you heard Sadhguru talk? I have heard Sadhguru talk, but yeah, like I think, oh man, yesterday we actually had a chat about Sadhguru on the podcast that we did. Some of the things he says, like we know he comes from a good place, but there are some possible exaggerations. I'm thinking of one specifically, the 13-day meditation. I would love to believe that, and it would fascinate me if that is something the human body is capable of. But knowing our need for water and how long we can survive without water, I have a hard time believing. And just, like natural bowel movements, What do you think? Have you heard him talk about that stuff at least? Let's talk about art. What weird art are you into? The painting in your room is super cool. Do you paint, draw, or create? Yeah, I actually do, friend. I'm at the moment trying to get good, right? Trying to learn the basics, if you will. Literally going through like classes where they teach you just like, basic anatomy, basic shape drawing, trying to recreate things in your immediate environment, just trying to teach myself the fundamentals right now, because I've been trying to draw, but I just kind of went at it like, oh, I look at thing, I try to draw a thing, and no, oh, I look at thing, I deconstruct thing into smaller shapes, I learn how to draw those shapes, represent those shapes, shade those shapes, then I apply that knowledge onto the thing I'm trying to draw, right? So like there's a little bit of a disconnect between how much I know how to do and how much I want to do. So I'm trying to teach myself the know-how first now. So yeah, and art I'm into. Like I'm actually really into psychedelic artwork. So stuff that's extremely intricate and like a little bit in your face. Sometimes even something that's intimidating to look at, where you look at it and it's almost too much to look at. Like I find some sort of fascination with that. You know, the muchness of experience, if you will. Like hidden eye images. Like I'm like thinking about like artworks that make use of the effect that hidden eye images give you, where you interlace like images on top of images, and then by defocusing, those interlacing of images basically makes a coherent image, which is a psychedelic thing to think about as well. You know, the fact that we're capable of creating these states of being inside of another being through a work of art, through an object, technically. Huh? Man, art is something. How about you, friend? What art are you into? I live in Germany, and the last time I smoked was almost 2 years ago. Oh, right for the heart. I know that feeling, little bear. The longest I had to go was like 1 year and 4 months. But I feel you, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like I'm thinking now as well. It sounds like the last time you traveled was basically just before COVID. Do you have to leave the country in order to find marijuana? I know it's still illegal in Germany, right? Hey, are you an Aussie? No, I'm a South African friend. But thank you for joining us still. Eyewitness accounts are probably more misread for philosophy than direct history, or at least to a certain point. Yeah, it's true. Dry historian, dude, you would know actually. Be your own therapist is another spin on parenting ourselves later in life. Parenting ourselves. Man. You see, I like to try and visualize the different things we choose to do from the perspective of layers of consciousness as well. And like clearly there is a voice inside of our head that is constantly the one talking. Then there is, you know, this understanding of inside of us where we can listen to the thing that's talking. And then there is the awareness of those two, talking and listening, right? So I feel like the trying to parent yourself or trying to be your own therapist is like trying to identify in some way with that observation, awareness of the thought pattern. So maybe there is some value in it. Like I can see it being maybe, if anything, just a good mental practice. You know, give yourself the information, see how you process the information, and then extract from it what you need. You don't have to make it something that is your like go-to, if you will. It is different in all of the states for how to keep up the license, and you have to take a test, which it might be different in different countries, I would assume in any way. Sounds about right. I'm sorry to say that, but the Indian gurus are full of shit and exploit people. I wouldn't go as far as to just say that, because I don't know the full story. But yeah, like anything that they're capable of, you're capable of as well. And by saying things like that, that is, you know, impossible, like humanly impossible, that is also a little bit irresponsible, I believe. Little bear, yes. That's the basics of drawing. You will get it with practice. It's all about small shapes and shading. I'd love to see your work. At some point you will, G-Unit. At some point you will, friend. It will. I believe like the creative pursuit can be something that's very spiritual as well, and I'm trying to become aware of that. I'm trying to align my values with that, creating from a place of spiritual pursuit. Creating for the sake of, might lose a few of you, for the sake of God. For creating this thing into this universe that would please God, please the ultimate awareness that is your beingness. And man, it's difficult to do that genuinely. It really is, because it's so easy to get yourself caught up in the creative process. But that's also the point, at the other hand, right? That's the trip. That's the trip of creating art. That's why so many artists can like go a little bit nutty in creating. That's also the beauty in it. It is definitely is a pursuit. Free art, check out. Oh, Alex Gray, trippy. Yeah, Alex Gray is one of my top favorite artists, friend. I was actually listening to like a talk or a video that he took about exactly as I was just talking about art as this spiritual pursuit. I think it came out like 3 months ago or something. If you search just Alex Gray into like YouTube, and I found that. And man, it really put a lot into perspective. And I look up, I aspire to make art as beautiful as that man's is. Do check it out. Alex Gray, absolute creator, that dude. I don't have to travel. It's just my circumstances have changed as now I have a family. Oh, I hear you, little bear. So, I mean, is it something that you're scared of doing because you have a family? Is it something your family wouldn't approve of? Is it something that would endanger your family if you did? Like, that's the questions I have, if you will. If you could have any snacks appear right now in front of you, what would you choose? I would summon a kiwi into being. That is what I would want right now, friend. Just you being able to summon kiwis. Yeah, that would be so sick. Hey Meld, just sending well wishes your way. Thank you, I am Jay. I appreciate the wishes you're sending my way. Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Ba-dum-bum-ba-dum-bum. I love you, Brad. Thank you for joining us here. You believe what you believe, man. If you lost people over, then they need to be more open-minded. I feel like it's just because of the wording, like we use the word God because it's something we think we try to understand, right? That word signifies this thing that is larger than us. Some people can say universe, some people can say Allah, Abba, like there's so many different words for it, but it's the same understanding at the end of the day. There's this thing that is more than just us. And if it wasn't for this thing that's more than us, then we wouldn't be, right? And that awareness, that realization that we're part of something larger than ourselves, and that we can bring even more to that thing that is larger than ourselves by actively living into it, right? Like giving yourself to it. Holy other? A holy other. Like someone that is whole and your other. I hear you, friend, but I'm not sure about the context. I have been recently disposed of epilepsy, diagnosed. Oh, okay. I think you're probably editing your message. I'll wait, friend. I'll be calm and move on. Man. Just reminding yourself of what calm means to you. practicing that neural pathway. Full disclosure, I believe my ancestors take care of me because I'm crazy. I think we're all a little bit crazy, friend. Maybe just a little bit. How could you not be? You're looking through a pinhole at this universe, just with your current eyes. Like you're seeing me right now, quite literally, through something that's this big, the little camera, right? And then into your eyes. But you can perceive from a single point that has no dimension, has no volume. And you are that point. How could you not be crazy, friend? It is meant to describe something that exists besides ourselves, which can be explained but can't be. Which can't be explained but can be. Yeah. And just looking at the scale of our universe and the infinite nature of it, anything can be. Nothing cannot be. Which can be as well. Huh? Yep, that's what infinite means. I have been recently diagnosed with epilepsy, and I don't know how my body would react to weed. I just can't let my little kids experience the trauma of me having a seizure in front of them. I hear you completely, friend. Like, I do know that people diagnose some epilepsy with like CBD. So if anything, like, do some research into maybe a strain that contains some CBD. Like, if you can, like, narrow it down to the stuff that you smoke, if you have any choice and stuff like that, that would be the best way to do it. But I'm not a medical professional. I'm just telling you what I know about my personal experience with it, at least. Yeah. Man, thank you, friends. Woo! From a place of calm, you can get some pretty crazy. Yeah. I appreciate you, friends, sharing this space with me. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.